Alright everybody, game number 1 in our first semi-final here at the Caseking Christmas Cup, the Invitational. 16 players we had, and of those 16 we have already 12 eliminated. 4 remain, and well, let's find out who is going to be the first player to advance to the finals. It's either the Semifinal down to the bottom left, the Terran player ForGG, staying in Europe right now, or the Protoss player cross-positioned on Nimbus up to the top right. It is San, starting in blue. And we're having our first Protoss versus Terran match in the semifinal on Nimbus, and Todd, casting with me today, has his very own opinion about this map.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the map order, actually, Nimbus, King Sejong, Foxtrot, Deadwing, Merry-Go-Round, I'm guessing that San vetoed Catalina and ForGG vetoed Overgrowth. And as much as I agree with ForGG's veto, vetoing Catalina I don't think is a wise choice when Nimbus is in the map. Like, Nimbus is clearly, like, to me, #1 veto that you should go for. So, unless San has prepared something special, it's gonna be very hard for him to win here. I guess the fact that his cross map might help him a little bit, because those drops will come in later. And I also think that in the late game he has a better chance to win than, you know, in the early or mid game, because he has like very good Templar control and all that, and defense. And 4G doesn't like to go for Ghost to counter Templars as well.
What's the biggest problem for a Protoss player against Terran on this map? Why is that map the map where you say, like, okay, this is the worst map for him, and this is the map that he's most likely going to lose?
Like, you know, the fact that your third base is very far away from your main and natural, and the fact that the natural is so droppable is the big problem. Like, drops are going to be very strong, especially big doom drops on the natural, and attacks on the third base at the same time are going to be very hard for the Protoss to evaluate quickly and split well enough that you can defend in 2 or even sometimes 3 places at once. And actually, San opens with double gas here early on, so maybe something special in the plans. So far he's mining with only 1+2, so still could go for a very quick Nexus with that, and then followed by a Mothership Core, which is the hero build, by the way.
What do you think is like the best option that a Protoss player has in this map? When you say like the natural, for example, is very droppable, are cannons a solution that you can work with? Is it just like having a higher observer count? We talked a bit about the problem that MC had in the series that he played against Jagji, that he never really knew what was coming and where. Would it just be an option to have like more observers on the map so that you see those drops and can react to them?
Yeah, it's a good thing that you can do, but actually this game might play out very differently than your standard PvT, at least early on, because 4GG didn't go for anything like a Reaper Expand or a Command Center first. He went for a gas first. And I'm pretty sure that he's going to want to go for a double Hellion. Actually, no. Oh, never mind. He got a factory on his barracks. He got a reactor, sorry, on his barracks, and then the factory, and I really thought he was going to swap that and go for double Hellion. It can be very nice, because you can't block off the ramp, and then the 2 Hellions, they're going to get into the main, and they're going to kill probes here and there. But no, 4GG, he wants to go for a Marine Hellion attack with a Medivac here early on. And San goes for the Stargate, which with the opener he went for makes perfect sense, because you have double gas very early.
So talking a little bit about the builds that are colliding right now, do you think that San is expecting this from 4GG? You were talking a bit about the standard Terran versus Protoss match that you are expecting here. So with that in mind, is San going completely blindsided by what 4GG does right now? He has no scout on the map. He hasn't seen anything yet.
I feel like it's going to be a situation where both players kind of need to get lucky with, you know, dodging each other's units. If the Oracle of San is across the map somehow and he doesn't see those units of 4GG move out and then they drop into his main, then he's going to be in lots of trouble. If he sees them coming, then he just defends with his Oracle. He's going to be in a good position, I think. But so much can happen, and San obviously, you know, he hadn't scouted yet. He's not Adel Scott, you know, he's not that guy that will just stay at home and never scout with a probe. He goes now and goes for the scouts. And we have an armory on the way here for 4GG, so he has a few builds like this, with which he goes for a few Hellbats, keeps on dropping, you know, at the same time, takes more bases. I really don't think this is going to be a 1 base by 4GG, even though there is a small chance he could. And this is what I was talking about. The Hellions, they're not going to meet anything on their way.
Yep, the Oracle is already starting to move across at the left side of the map, and now we have that drop coming in. The drop is going to be much faster than the Oracle, though, and back at home, there's not really anything that can defend against their units. That Oracle is going to have a field day.
Yeah, but he's coming back now with the Oracle, because he needs it to defend.
Do you think he should have just kept walking?
Yeah, if he knew that there is nothing back at home for 4G to defend, he would probably go for the middle line. But now San is in trouble back at home. the photon overcharge being a natural is going to be very hard for him to hold. He's going to lose so many walkers.
Ah, and he's about to lose the Oracle as well. Oracle is going down, and now the Harvester line is completely open to the harass. He's moving in already. The Terran player just obliterating everything left, right, bottom, and center. And ForGG just slapping San in the face completely in game number 1, taking that game in a 7-minute and 30-second match. ForGG takes the 1-0 in the best of 5 series here, blindsiding San, and the Terran player now with the lead in the semifinal. Caseking station, map number 2 between Sun and ForGG here at the Caseking Christmas Invitational, the Caseking Christmas Cup. Down to the bottom right, we have Millennium's ForGG, the Terran player with a 1-0 lead in the series. Todd is laughing for absolutely no reason, it's not connected to the stream. Up to the top left, we have San, his opponent, taken out in the last game by ForGG with a 1-base play. Very well done by the Terran player. And Todd, I have no idea what you're laughing about.
Oh yeah? Caseking Christmas Invitational? You think I didn't hear that?
It is an
invitation. I made a mistake, and it was because of what I mentioned yesterday.
Dude, like, I corrected it in such a manner
Yeah,
that
but
nobody
still.
realized it except for you, and you pointed it out.
It's okay, Khaldor. I forgive you. It was because of me. All right. I fully expect to see a lot more standard play here out of both players. ForGG actually, no, yeah, not going to go for a CC first. Just going to go for a Rax on 12, which should be followed by a Gas on 12 and a Reaper. And San, standard gateway 13. So yeah, going to be one gate expanding. It was, you know, I don't dislike what San went for in the previous game. It's really the fact that he doesn't scout early that made him basically get punished.
Do you think that he just did do it because he says, okay, this is a bad map for me anyways, I'm just gonna try and cut a few corners here so that I might have a shot?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe it's that plus the fact that, you know, he usually doesn't scout very early, but he's not even gonna fix that in this game. He's not even gonna go for a quick scout. I think, yeah, I casted San not too long ago. I think it might have been against a very good turn, maybe like Bolt or Teja, where I kept emphasizing during the series that the fact that it doesn't scout early on, there is really a lot of stuff that can abuse that, and the Terran was abusing it perfectly, and then he ended up beating San very convincingly. And I can see here that he still hasn't fixed that. Like, even if you don't want to do it, you can not do it, but at least just in few of the games. If you do it every game, it really becomes a liability.
I have to say that ForGG plays the entire tournament already. I don't want to say perfect. He lost the game against Jan earlier, where he could have maybe forced the issue a bit earlier. But just like the preparation, and you call it like placing doubts in San's mind, and that's exactly what I feel we are seeing here. Because if you, it's only one map in a best of 5, so I guess it's not too much of an issue. But if you start with something like that, you have to realize that your opponent could always go for another like sneaky build. And the thing is, that really surprises me even more that we don't see another scout for San. You said that this is something in his play that he should maybe fix, but if I was him, I would be really afraid that ForGG is going to pull a stunt like that again.
Yeah, there is quite a few builds actually that you can do against this. You can 2-Rax somebody that opens Nexus first like this and doesn't scout, and he would just die because he would have nothing. He would have a Mothership Core against, you know, maybe not even that. Like the 2-Rax comes in very quickly with SCVs and Marines, and then you just get killed pretty much instantly. You don't have the Stalkers that you need to defend, so gonna have to be careful. Like ForGG, if he really wants to go YOLO in one of the games, like say he goes up 2-0, it's a best of 5.
Oh,
in
yeah.
game 3, try something like that definitely.
We
Especially
talked.
since game 3 is Catalina.
Well, I mean, we talked about like the build that, for example, we had earlier from Jagchi when he was playing against Impact. That in the last game he risked a lot by just like going for a move where he said, "Okay, I'm gonna play 8 Rex Reaper." But if you are 2-0 in a best of 5 series, I feel you should always try to take a risk, either by being very aggressive and proxying something, or you just play a greedy game, just because you can afford that, and you keep your opponent guessing what you're doing, even if you like drop one map.
Yeah, yeah.
Sun here is now going straight into a Twilight Council. He had the probe at least in the map for a few scouts, but ForGG back at home has his own command center on the high ground, is now going into that drop play again. Single gas for him so far, and the blink upgrade has started for Sun.
Yeah, on this map, this is really one of the more solid builds that you can do. And by the way, sorry, third map is not Catalina, it is Foxtrot. Catalina was vetoed, so Foxtrot and Deadwing actually will be the next map with merry-go-rounds. I really don't like those much for Sen. Like, out of the 5 maps, since there is no overgrowth, since ForGG vetoed it, King Sejong is definitely the best map for Sen to try and take a win against ForGG. So he's gonna have to win that one. He's gonna have to be there if he wants to be able. Like, if he goes down 0-2, I really don't think he has much of a chance to winning the series.
Not the way that ForGG has been playing in this tournament so far. I mean, it was really, really solid, like, this entire performance here. We haven't seen him against Protoss just yet. He played 2 Zerg players, but still, like, he's a scary opponent to face, and now he's starting with a drop play again now that we have the Medivac in the match. His count in Harvesters is down to 29 versus 40, so he's not even, like, building SCVs at this point. He's not even starting again, so he's gonna fall behind if he doesn't do any damage. We have him with a drop in the mineral line now, and Sun doesn't really have a whole lot that he can use for the defense except for the Photon Overcharge, but the Hellions are moving straight into the main.
Yeah, he's gonna have to target them down, chase them, but there is quite a few of them. The barbecue has begun, Khaldor. It's gonna be about how many probes can ForGG fry here. And the more that he kills, the better position he's going to be in.
It's going to be a lot. It's already 14, and now, oh god, San is lining them up. Line them up, baby. Nice block here, at least. But we have 18, 20 already taken down. And that Harvester count that I was mentioning that was so good for San, well, scratch that. He's currently looking at 25 against 33 workers, and the Terran player has double Mule and took control of his natural now as well.
And San immediately drops down another gate. He cuts the mining on the gas on the natural. I like that reaction. He already has so much gas banked, which he doesn't need. Drops down another gate. I'm pretty sure he's going to want to be aggressive. I mean, he just got attacked by Medivac, Marines, and Hellions. It's pretty obvious there's not going to be Steam Pack or Combat Shield even started at this point in the game. And you know what? ForGG, without even seeing anything headed his way, he knows that this is a big possibility for Blink Stalkers to attack him, so he starts getting tanks.
I mean, this is
man.
crazy good for him right now. He killed so much in that last battle. If you look at the units lost, it's 20 Harvesters that were taken down, and all that he lost for that is the same amount in minerals. So we have like 8 Marines killed and 6 Hellions. Both of them lost 1,000 resources, 1,000 minerals. But it's that mining time that you lose with that. And that, of course, then again delays your possibility to go and advance your tech to maybe expand again. So all that income that is lost now for San is just giving ForGG that crazy advantage that he has.
4G has reacted so well. Even going to a Cloak Banshee, wow, this is unusual. Rather than getting Medivacs and taking straight into Bio, is like, since you are forcing me of making tanks right now, and I cannot swap my barracks for my starport, I'm just gonna get Cloak and Banshee, but San is gonna have something to say about this. Gets a cancel on the Cloak, and the info as well.
Yeah, no Cloak for him, and he's now in his opponent's face and main base. Nice save on the tank here, at least for now. The Stalkers are just moving through the base, blinking down on the other side, but taking a few kills with them. So really well done by San here. A nice cancel, especially on that Cloak ability for the potential Banshee. 2 of the Vikings have been sniped, and he got a few of the SCVs, 4 in total. He's still roughly on the same amount of Harvesters now, but because of that income with the Mules, that was what gave ForGG the advantage. But those Stalkers, they aren't done yet. They're still trying to find an opportunity to do damage.
San seeing the tanks too, he starts some Immortals immediately. He already has the Twilight Council. Neither Steam Pack or Combat Shield started yet. The good reaction here for him will be to drop down the Templar Archive, go straight into Storm. And you know what? ForGG is playing some kind of 1-1-1 style here. He might entirely skip Steam Pack and Combat Shield just because of the way he fell behind just now again. He might just go for pure tank Marine without any upgrades, Banshees, Medivacs, and then just go all in. He's even pulled some of the boys here.
Yeah, he killed one of the tanks now, San that is, one of the reinforcements, but the rest of ForGG's army is moving in. He has a pretty big army size, 58 versus 42, and the siege tanks are now sieging up on the low ground here, trying to put pressure on that expansion. High ground vision has been granted, but of course that photon overcharge energy is still there, and without the high ground vision, the tanks can't do too much. I'm a bit surprised that that Banshee isn't granting that, and is trying to move into range now, and there it is. Do you really think this is going to be successful for ForGG? What triple bunker building now?
Yeah, I mean, he's already done quite a bit of damage. Sandy's going to have to lose a lot to defend this, but the thing is, he hasn't played greedy or anything. He dropped down a lot of additional gates now. I think there was a small draw by ForGG in the main, which was defended easily. So San's going to defend here real soon, and then the game is going to stabilize from here. He needs to engage before the reinforcements arrive here for ForGG, which they are on the way right now.
They are on the way, but here come the Stalkers, and the Immortals take down the tanks easily. All of those bunkers are being cancelled except for one that is annihilated. San is doing extremely well. Like, considering how many harvesters he lost in the early game, this is an amazing defense by him. ForGG is trying to push against him in the middle of the map, but he's losing a lot of his units, especially since he still doesn't have stim, he doesn't have the combat shield. There are no upgrades for those marines, and the gateway army of San is doing a lot of work here. The army supply is about the same, and even though the immortals are extremely low in hit points, only one of them goes down and the rest of the Terran army is obliterated. Very well done by San, and he definitely doesn't want to give up this best of 5 without a fight.
Yeah, this is again a case of ForGG overextending quite a bit. You know, back at home, up against the Blink Stalkers, he was moving out, then Stan blinked into his main, put him a little bit behind, then he felt that he had to go for some kind of sort of, I guess, counter-attack. He went for it, didn't do the damage he wanted now, and now, all of a sudden, San, he has a similar walker count, but he already has a Templar archive, he's warping in High Templars, he's gonna start Storm here very, very soon. Needs to make sure not to forget that, though. That would be a pretty bad scenario if he was to. And up against him is a ForGG who's going to Bio plus tank, which is a bit weird. Doesn't really have any upgrades for his Marine, so even though he started Steam Packet Combat Shield, it's gonna take a while to complete.
Ooh, the High Templar in the main base, he gets 2 of them. He kills 2 of the High Templars just with the Banshee here. Really nice targets. They were just about to build up the energy. Even the feedback didn't help with that. Third base is now being placed down by San, though. And, I mean, the Pros player in a pretty decent position now when it comes to the attack. But as you mentioned, he didn't start his Storm upgrade yet. We have for ForGG on the production tab not only Stim, but also, of course, the combat shield. He gets his third too, and is moving out with that army, trying to pressure his opponent again. The army size just isn't there yet just now.
Oh, he's gonna blink forward and try and get the tanks here, and he's
easy.
Like, get them quite easily. Why is ForGG doing those weird attacks?
Like that time warp slowed down the bio forces, he loses the marines, he loses maybe, you know, even the last Banshee that he has. ForGG just got completely destroyed. Like, that wasn't even a contest. San's Immortals took down the tanks easily. You had the Archons at the front doing their extra damage against bio, and that wasn't even close.
Yeah, this is a game where both of them have been fighting so much that every possible timing that usually would apply really don't apply right now. Like, you don't really know where you're at, when and where you should attack, and that's why we're seeing both of them actually make strange moves and attacks. But I think this one might not be strange at all, because San knows he has way more, and even if he loses everything that he has here, as long as he trades cost effectively,
especially that Archon with a splash damage is doing a lot. But the SCVs moved back before they are taken down. So if you look at the Harvesters killed, it's 31 against 15 workers that have been killed here. We saw that Banshee still doing quite some damage. The Harvester count now is still 50 against 43, so it's not like one of them doesn't have the economy anymore.
Yeah.
The thing to remember is that the third base for Sun is ready. He just needs to saturate the mineral line, and he even goes into a Dark Shrine now. Still no Storm upgrade for him, so in regards to area of effect damage, there's 0. There's no Colossi, there's no Storm opportunities, but Sun is still doing extremely well disregarding that.
The Dash Run is a great decision, because he already has a lot of pylons across the map. This is a low econ games, as in, you know, ForGG doesn't have nearly as much economy as he would have in a usual game if they had played a little bit more passive. So he doesn't have turrets, and the first few DTs that are going to get in there and start slicing on SCVs, they are going to do so much damage. So right now, San, as long as he stabilizes, you know, goes into Storm, he's going to be okay.
The attempt to put some pressure on that third base by ForGG didn't really help him too much. Of course, it's always great if you have a few Marauders running in with a stim. They can burst down a building in seconds, but San was expecting that and was ready. The Storm upgrade is on the production tab. The +1 attack upgrade is halfway done. We have ForGG with the armory that will help him to go into +2/+2. Actually missing out on that a bit, so he can't really use that double engineering bay that he has at this point. And what San has is another pylon to the bottom left that could be used for warp-ins, one to the right side, so they are basically everywhere. ForGG is trying to hunt them down, but he doesn't really find them yet.
Yeah, the Warp Prism really will allow him to basically drop those DTs right into the middle lines as well, and this is gonna do a lot of damage. I don't even think ForGG has that many scans available. He is about to have one, and then followed by another a little bit later, but not having turrets here.
Double attack now. One at the third and another one at the natural as the DTs are entering the main base thanks to the Warp Prism, starting to take the mineral line apart. But we have the pressure at the third, and ForGG is dropping in his opponent's main base now. He's trying to get the Templar Archive. The problem is that Storm has just finished. Really bad timing for ForGG. Quite unlucky for him here. And of course the DTs, they did some damage, but they were taken out. But if you look at it, the Harvesters lost. It's 31 against 32 kills by now.
Yeah, there was one DT missing in natural. If he had sent one there, San could have killed even more walkers. Like right now, the damage, yeah, it just wasn't as good as it could have been. It was still pretty good. I mean, it's 61 probes to 35 SCVs. Like 4GG might start getting desperate and go for a big attack here, which right now is moving out.
Yeah, he's moving out with nearly everything that he has. He's defending at the natural against a few zealots with one marine and a couple of SCVs, but the SCV count is down to 31.
Are you ready for the shower, Khaldor?
Yeah, well, where are the High Templars? How many does he have? He has 4 High Templars, quite a lot of energy on those too. So the storms are about to hit. The third base attempt has been detected by a Dark Templar and also that was taken out with the quick scan. But here we go. The attack by ForGG trying to throw his army against his opponent. He has a big army supply. He's looking at 30 army supply lead, 117 versus 93. The storms are being dropped against the tanks, but most of the High Templars are already gone. He doesn't have a lot of those. San is lacking High Templars at this point for the defense. He has only one still in there with his army, and that one went out of energy.
He doesn't have charge yet.
He doesn't have anything.
Oh, the High Templar gets shot down by the tank with 4GG's nice macro before it can even storm. So San just lost a lot of very important units.
San has no army supply. He has no army supply. 50 against 100. And there is still no storm. He doesn't have the energy on the High Templars. He's just using it for feedbacks now. He can't do anything else. But of course all those stims hurt the Terran army. If he gets the energy up on one High Templar, he can do so much damage here.
Yeah, but 4GG steamed a lot. A lot of his units are red, but he might just have too much anyway, and I think he's just gonna tear and send.
Yeah, he's going in right now, but he loses the entire bio, or most of it, but reinforcements are already on the way. 4GG might be able to win this after all. His Harvester count is down to 20. He still has mules to make up for that, but with all those feedbacks against the Medivacs, he just doesn't have a lot to heal his army up. All those units are so low in HP. The Dark Templar escapes, and there's a full mana High Templar. I can't believe that he didn't find that earlier. This High Templar on the high ground dropping a storm on the units at the natural would have probably taken out half the Terran army.
Storm!
There it is, and this one hurts. Oh god. Like,
4GG has to evacuate, and there is a DT in his natural. San is mining essentially from just one base, but so is 4GG. And 4GG only has 19 SCVs. I guess San, as long as he doesn't die anytime soon, he still wins. With all the walkers that he has, he can just re-expand. And he's actually going to win this, Khaldor.
yeah, the DT is still doing work at the third base, chasing the SCVs away. We also have the Warp Prism still alive, so you could even drop something in the main base again if you wanted to. Finally a scan to take down that Dark Templar, but 4GG is extremely low in the Harvest account. 17 versus 45. Even the energy on the command center is very low, so it's not going to be able to do much with the mules. He builds a Raven now to finally put a stop to the DTRS, but he's down 30 supply.
Yeah, that's clever actually, with all the gas that he has, why not? But even those medivacs, they are struggling so much, healing everything. 4GG has like tanks in his composition, which are even grouped with his bio.
San could have had a much easier time at defending if he would have realized that there is still a High Templar with full energy in his main base. Yeah. On that high ground, if he gets that one storm into the Terran army that was already so low because of the lack of healing, thanks to the medivacs running out of energy, that would have done so much work. But as is, San is now 40 supply ahead.
You know what, Khaldor? I'm not going to give him a hard time for it because it happens to me all the time and with much more than just one Templar, so I'm not even going to mention it.
I mean, he pulled it off after all. He found the High Templar, got the last storm in, that destroyed nearly the rest of what 4GG had there. But yeah, very well played by San. I really thought he was dead in the waters when 4GG doubled his army supply.
Let's see, San's moving out now. I mean, San knowing that it's a low recon game, and 4G doesn't have that many walkers, he can take his time. He can just build up his Templar count a lot, especially since he's mining from more than just 2 gases. He's mining a little bit of gas from his main as well. But he knows that he has a lot more army right now. He's not gonna... you know, there is this right balance between knowing when you're ahead and like extending your lead and also not letting your opponent come back. And right now, San has decided that now will be the time that he has to attack.
And he's also dropping units in the main base that distracts from 4GG from the attack that we see at the third, and that's where most of the SCVs for his opponent are, and also of course that command center. A small army trying to defend. Army supply is actually still extremely similar. The Protoss player is just ahead by 10, but it's just the area that you have to cover.
And 4G starts 2-2, by the way.
Yeah, San has to be... The one thing that San has to be careful about is he lost his natural and therefore he lost access to a lot of mineral patches. But with Archons moving in right now, those charge lots I mean, this is extremely tricky. The 2-2 upgrades are done for San. 4GG is on 1-1. This is not looking good for the Terran player, like, not at all.
He's gonna have to kite his heart out, man.
And he's trying. I mean, you can't blame a girl for trying there. Engineering base being attacked in the main base with another drop thanks to the Warp Prism. That +2 armor upgrade is not going to finish anytime soon. And the entire army of Sun is still outside of the base, denying that third to him.
Yeah. I thought that 4G cancelled the +2 attack, then I looked in the main and those 4 Zealots, they killed one of the eBay and then the other.
Yeah, and of course at the... Well, the Banshee actually is in a really good position to at least take down a few of the Harvesters, but it's detected by the cannons there, and yeah, it's not going to make it. The Stalkers are just doing too much work. The Natural is now overrun. 4GG has no income anymore, and Sun is taking the game and is equalizing the score in our best-of-5 series here at the Caseking semifinals. Really well done by Sun here. Back and forth game between the two of them. So, good job by him. And well, let's see who's going to take game number 3. We're going to head into the next map in just a second, the Caseking Christmas Cup. Game number 3 in our best of 5. We have a tie in the series. 4GG starting to the top left of Foxtrot Labs. Lost the last game against Sun, who we see spawning to the bottom right, cross position to his opponent. The Terran versus Protoss here in the semifinal of the Caseking Christmas Cup, not the Caseking Christmas Invitational, an important distinction that I want to make once again, since we have Todd casting with us. And yeah, let's see who's gonna take the lead in the series. And the last one was already a pretty close match, like a really clutch game between the two of them with a lot of comebacks.
Yeah, 4GG has been getting really cheeky actually in this matchup. So far, like he's been opening a lot with you know, quick factories, Hellions dropping here left and right, trying to kill a lot of workers early on. In the first game he won right away. In the second game we thought he kind of did as well, but losing 20 workers ain't nothing apparently for Sen.
Yeah, that was quite something. I mean, if you lose in such a game 20 Harvesters... Okay, I mean, we probably have to say as well that 4G was starting to, or was cutting like SCVs for quite some time to get that army out there. So he needed to do damage. If you cut an economy this early in the game, you also expect to really get something in return. And he got that, but he got killed so much more that I really thought that Sun would struggle a lot more than he did. And then later we had that moment when 4GG was looking at 100 army supply against 50, and the storms not even a problem for him, since all of those High Templars didn't have the energy, but somehow Sun still turned it around, was able to defend, and then won the game. That was really incredible.
4GG oversteamed quite a bit, and then all of his units were in the red, and then Stan barely held. I think that was a big mistake that a lot of Terrans do. They don't adjust to their low numbers of medivacs, and San, it looks like a proxy Stargate is in the books here for him.
It wasn't even so much that we had the... well, it was of course a part also the number of medivacs, but San actively tried to just like feedback all of the medivacs when he warped in UI Templars. He was realizing, okay, I'm not going to get my Storm, but I have still the energy for feedback, so he feedbacked them over and over again to make sure that they can't heal the army. So, both of them. But yeah, we have that proxy here for San going for the proxy Stargate now. 4GG is getting the Reaper out. Only question, of course, is if he's gonna scout or if he just sends that cross map and tries to do some damage with it.
Let's see what San chooses to do behind this. Like a lot of the time you'll get Mothership Core, but now he's choosing to chrono boost a Stalker instead to make sure he can defend against I guess a Reaper that could come in, or the SCV. But the Reaper finds the Stargate immediately. Yep. And it's very hard to abort this kind of proxy Stargate, so I'm pretty sure that Sen's still going to go for it.
Do you think he should?
Oh! Okay, that was blocked for a second. I don't think he should, no. You should still go for at least one Oracle, because it's still very hard for a Terran to defend, like getting turrets on time, and then you don't have to suicide your Oracle, obviously. You can keep it alive and all that. And then from there you just expand and then do whatever you want as Protoss.
So right now that Reaper is of course trying to do some work, but the grenades were taken away. David didn't love the Reaper anymore, didn't show them a lot of love when Heart of the Swarm was introduced. So now
what do you mean? He made them faster and they have regeneration, are you serious?
Yeah, but they are weak as hell right now. They're weak as shit, they don't do any damage whatsoever.
Oh, the pylon is too far!
Oh shit!
And the Oracle is 49 out of 50, Khaldor.
Oh my god! Holy crap!
Oh my god.
Wow, that is... That's unfortunate. Wow, and now the
49
Stalker,
out of 50, Khaldor.
Stalker going into the main base, not even killing a Marine. Look at that, he didn't get the last shot in. Wow, San is right now in a really awkward spot.
And he's gonna go blink all in behind this. He's
Puts
dropping down the Twilights.
He goes in with another probe. He's putting another pilot closer to the Stargate.
Wow.
Oh shit.
I really don't know what he can do from there. Like, he's gonna squeeze that Oracle out. He's dropping down more gates. He's gonna go most likely for a blink all in. ForGG is just gonna fly into the main, play it safe, most likely, you know, add one more barracks, stack two medivacs.
Like
he's using his eBay to get the +1 as well.
How frustrated is he right now?
Idra level.
Idra level. No, then he would have left. But this, God, I can't imagine. Did he just lose that Stalker? Yeah, of course he did.
Oh, the Marines.
He lost the Stalker, and well, at least now he gets the counter kill. San kills all of the Marines. That's actually pretty good for him.
Yeah, the Oracle came out so late now that ForGG thought it had been cancelled. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna move out. But nope, it did finish.
Yeah. And there's very, very little land here. The only Marines are out on the map, so that Oracle can still get a few kills against SCVs that are building stuff on the map now. Down to the bottom right, Stalkers are moving down. There's no base, by the way, no second base for San. He doesn't have a Nexus here. At least the command.
Oh, it's big scan here by ForGG. He needs to go back into the main with the Marines. He saw the Stalkers move out. Why is he staying?
I don't know, but like, there's no warping right now.
Because he knows that there's going to be reinforcements.
But he's going to lose every single one of them now. Doesn't even get the Oracle. Like, the Oracle gets away, all of the Marines are dead. He lost every single one of them. ForGG has 7 Marines on the map, and that's it. There's still the Oracle. There is 6 Stalkers. We have 1 bunker already done, 2nd bunker now on top of the ramp.
ForGG is going full foreigner here a little bit, but he still has double bunker behind this, and he's getting Widow Mines too. So those Widow Mines are really going to help, I think. Especially since the Oracle just dies.
Wow. Well, we have the entire army for the Prolus player now towards the right side, and the probe is also there. Now the first Widow Mines finally come into play for ForGG. Economy-wise, he's in a decent spot right now, but still, this is going to get extremely tricky. Upgrades, Blink is done, Blink's away, not even the Widow Mine is getting a shot off. How difficult is that for ForGG now, and how much pressure is like San without having a second base?
I mean, San is in so much trouble, like... He could expand from here, but he invested so much into this doing damage, and ForGG having Widow Mines and bunkers, this is not going to do any damage. So now he's taking to medivacs. He already has +1 on his Marines. He's going to get +1 armor, so that means he's going to have Bio 1-1 with Widow Mines and medivacs against just pure Stalker. I mean, San doesn't even have a Robo. He's getting another Oracle right now, but how much is that going to do, really? The thing is, San has pulled this off before. He's going to go for the Eternal Lockdown. He's gonna make only Stalkers, fly around with his Oracle, never let ForGG leave his base ever, not even with a medivac. He's gonna cover the entire area around it with pylons and shit.
Yeah, he has Stalkers everywhere right now, just waiting for a medivac to move down. But ForGG doesn't do anything of the kind. He has 1 medivac, he's actually apparently trying to move away. Should see at least the Oracle. There are the Stalkers right away and forcing him back. But yeah, he's doing exactly that. He's just trying to go for complete lock. He takes the gold base of his opponent. And I mean, why not? You have to take a base at some point anyways. If you lose that, if your opponent moves out, you're screwed either way.
The Eternal Lockdown, man. He's doing it. He does not want to let ForGG leave his base. And in the past when he did that, San was ahead, so it worked. But in this game, ForGG has some upgrades. He's gonna have a lot of bio to work with. I don't think this should work unless ForGG keeps on messing up. And right now, I don't know if that drop is a good idea. This is gonna get sniped, most likely. There's not enough Stalkers yet.
Oh, it's
another medivac sneaked away though.
He was trying to move away with the orbital commander, at least moving down for a second. Down to the bottom right, we have Widow Mines still moving in. 1 Phoenix is there for Sana as well to like shut down drop play.
The probe transfer is happening. I saw that where that one got burrowed. So San could actually just bring back He's one Oracle and detect that and kill it, but for now he wants to keep it across the map. Just make sure that ForGG cannot leave his base anytime soon.
ForGG just lost one of the medivacs, and he saw with the medivac where the probes were headed, so he must suspect by now what's going on here, that there is another base for his opponent. The triple drop to the right side though, and that's where the entire army of ForGG currently is located, with 53 army supply, and he has to fight right now. San has to fight this.
ForGG is gonna pick up, he evacuates barely. Okay, he's gonna go down the ramp now. Finally, he might finally break out, but Sen doesn't want to let that happen. He's gonna force field again.
Yeah, but that was a really smart move. Like, he put the entire army of San to the right side because San said, okay, I need to defend against this. And now the low ground is his. He takes down the sentry, he drops the pylon. The rest of the units are just moving down the ramp as the force field is now suddenly gone. And that's the big fight that we're waiting for.
The gold base is right there to attack, but he hasn't seen it yet, but surely he can suspect. Force fields are going to be important in Guardian Shields, and I don't think they are good enough, Khaldor.
Yeah, he's moving in, and actually the blink micro by San is really nice, but that army is still a lot of sustain. Even the Phoenix flies in to isolate one of the Marauders, and San is pushing this back for now, and the gold base is still giving him a bit of an advantage there. If he can hold that for much longer, the income for him is so much better. He has double the income of his opponent. The Warp Insurry, look at those blinks, like he gets everything.
I really didn't think this was going to go so well for Sand, but I underestimated his Stalker count, man. He had so many of them, and with the Guardian Shield, they really take so little damage in comparison than without. And all of a sudden, Sand is looking to be the one to try and finish the game here with some nice blink.
It's going in again. Here come the SCVs at the front to just soak up a few of the shots. The Marauder count is pretty nice though, and it's pushing back the Stalkers. With that big of a Marauder count, this is looking better and better for ForGG, obviously. But right now we have only the pilot detected. He doesn't know about the expansion. He still doesn't know about the base. He only saw the pylon.
I'm pretty sure he can sort of guess and know that he's probably there right now.
He should. He should be able to.
Double additional gateway going down for Sand, by the way, which with the last overextension gave another chance for ForGG to possibly win these concussive shells now finally being researched.
The Oracle moves in, gets a fair amount of kills here. There are not a lot of Marines, like, think about that. It's a lot of Marauders, but the Marine count is pretty low. There's only 6 of them, though, so the anti-air
everything
are slow.
He has to go for the fight. The base finally revealed. Sand getting overly ambitious, taking the gases there. I don't think he needs those gases.
Well, we have ForGG moving in, and just look at that DPS with Stimp Marauders. The shields are already gone. He just snipes it, takes the hits, and moves back. Loses one Marauder in the process. Turns around on the high ground and is pushing his opponent back once against the SCV, leaving the mineral line as the shield. We have Medivacs moving in. There's so many of them already, and those Marauders, like, they are not kidding around, taking down Stalker after Stalker. Even with that blink micro, there's nothing that San can do to take down the Terran army here. GG, and San is taken out once again. ForGG takes the lead in the best of 5. We have him with a 2-1 score now against San, and he only needs to win one more map to advance to the finals of the Caseking Christmas Cup. Starting to the bottom left of Deadwing, we have ForGG in this 4th game of the best of 5 series. The Terran player has a 2-1 lead against his Protoss opponent. To the top left, it is San. Was not able to win it on the last map here. His Blinkstalker Micro looked excellent, and for quite a long time it looked like he might be able to take ForGG down, but in the end, the Terran player turned in the turbo, hit the T button, and the Marauders just completely melted the Stalkers. So now the Terran player in a 2-1 lead, and if he wins this map, he's going to advance to the finals of the Caseking Christmas Cup. I'm Khaldor, with me is Todd, and we're going to bring you this Terran versus Protoss on Deadwing, and finding out who is going to either advance to the finals, or if San is maybe even able to tie the series up again and force a 5th game.
And we're not going to have a Turax, Khaldor. I'm sad.
You wanted a Turax? You really wanted to see one?
Yeah, I wanted to see if Stan can hold with knowing the fact that basically he doesn't scout early on and plays fairly greedy, I guess. It would have been a good answer.
Would have been a very entertaining game for sure. That's definitely true. ForGG here, though, starting with the early gas here. We have him not going into any kinds of like early base on the 4-player map like this. San back at home with the gateway opening there. Like, this is a bit of a different map now in the sense that it's extremely big. The only bigger map that we had was Nimbus, which was map number 1, and there ForGG prepared one of his 1-base builds. Do you think he could go for that again?
Yeah, definitely. But the thing is here, San, like he's one game away from being eliminated. I think he's gonna want to be a little bit more careful, maybe after core. Actually, no, he doesn't send a probe to scout anything. A little bit surprising here that he's so reluctant to really scout anything early on. Like, this is so risky. Like, not only against like proxies that you can face his start, but any kind of gas play, like, can put you in so much trouble if you don't see it coming. So he's gonna have to put really a minimum of effort into seeing, or what he can do is do a much safer build, you know, like adding on additional gateways, opening with a robo, then even if you don't scout, you're ready back at home to defend pretty much anything that could hit you.
Well, the first thing that he does is take an expansion here, same time as ForGG, and from San's perspective, like I always imagine like a player being in this situation and just losing a game like he did in the last one. It must feel so uncomfortable going up against ForGG right now when you know that any mistake that you make is going to be your last. And as you said, like not scouting, he must really be guessing what's going on there. For ForGG, I feel this is like, I feel like on a big map like that, it's something that really plays in the hands of the Terran player with the style that he uses.
Yeah, but what San could be hoping for here is basically just to play pretty defensive and stabilize into the late game with lots of upgrades, and especially Templar tech. Like, if San manages to reach high Templars and he already has like a bunch of Colossi, I think he's going to be in a great position to take out a ForGG who just doesn't like at all to ever take into Ghosts, and when he does, I don't think controls them that well. Like San in the late game, I do feel is much stronger than ForGG. The thing is, with the games that they've played so far, there hasn't been a single very long game.
The thing is that on a map like this, I feel that ForGG has better chances to really shine with drop play, which is something that we haven't really seen all that much yet from the way that the games went. You said it earlier best when you said like we had a couple of like really scrappy games where players were ahead making a few mistakes, extremely entertaining, and from a player's perspective they had to just like improvise a lot. But we didn't really get a chance to see ForGG's drop play, which on a map like that wing I feel can be so much more potent.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but at the same time, you know, in these positions, if you play some good observers, you're going to be able to see any drop coming in. And the bases are pretty close together, especially if San takes that one third base that's just a little bit below and in the middle of his initial two. So then it will be much easier for him to defend anything, you know, with like the Blink Stalkers that I'm guessing he's going to make, and assuming he goes into Colossus tech as well. So it's going to be tricky. The thing is, as a Terran, a lot of the time you're going to be able to take a third much earlier, but I don't know, maybe we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. Let's see what happens first with that Oracle, and especially with that move out of ForGG here.
Exactly. Concussive Shell is the upgrade that he gets first here, so what basically happens is that every Stalker, every Zealot that moves out onto the map is going to die. Just one hit from the Marauder and you are slowed down, so you can't escape. Getting those early picks is amazing for a Terran player, and that's exactly what ForGG is currently looking for. But at the same time, of course, that Oracle that Todd already pointed out is going to be a threat. No scouting on the main base, on the base just at all. He flies with both Oracles straight down to the bottom of the map, though.
And ForGG is not ready at all. Like, he's gonna see the Stargate now, but he sees nothing making out of it. I don't think that he has time to get any good defense ready. I guess he... Okay, no, he's placing some Marines back at home. And the Oracles might choose to go for the Marines.
Yeah, he flies in and tries to take them, but that didn't really work.
He should have gone across the map. This was again a case of 4G not being ready back at home. And since he had the overcharge ready, he couldn't really take any damage. So again a mistake here, and a little bit of a misread.
Over the Mothership core got sniped, but now there are way too many Marines, especially without the shields on the Oracle to do any kind of damage there. San back at home is transitioning into Colossi. He gets the first Observer also on the map. And for ForGG, it's just like that safe play again with him getting the missile turret, one in the main base right now. Actually, like it's in the middle of the map, no, in the main base, in the mineral line. And him already halfway done with a stim. He's up at the top again, trying to pressure. That photon overcharge is not ready just yet, and he gets a sentry for now, and more than that, might be able to kill the Stalker. Nah, not quite. Not with all of those additional probes moving in and taking him out.
This is delaying San's mining, and also San during all of this, he's not throwing down the additional tech buildings that he needs. Like, San needs to start the Twilight Council. He needs to start at least one forge, maybe even two, to be able to upgrade and then, you know, take a third base and develop from there. So we're gonna see a single forge go down, but still no Twilight Council.
Yeah.
He actually goes into one Phoenix, so I guess he wants to get some Phoenixes to defend against the drops that you talked about earlier.
Marines are now there too, and the Marines are actually very close to get the stim upgrade. They don't have it yet, but they took down the pylon and unpowered one of the gateways. Oh, the Zealots are actually like taking out now, and now he has stim, he uses it already, starts to start a step away from the opponent's army, and he gets a fair amount of kills here. He's going to lose most of the Marines, but he took down Zealots and he took down the Oracle here. So decent job by ForGG, resources lost in favor of the Terran player still, and San is definitely feeling the pressure now.
Yeah, big win here for ForGG, and this is really what he needs on a map like this. Like, if he sits back and just lets San, you know, macro up tech and take more bases, like I said before, he was going to be in lots of trouble, and he knows that. ForGG's strength is really like the pressure that he knows how to apply very well, and at the same time macro perfectly. And he wants to use just that in this game to try and win. San, I mean, he's doing a good job of getting Colossus and Phoenixes out, but the attacks that are going to be hitting him soon are going to be very strong, and those are the ones he's going to need to defend well to have a chance in this game.
And it's definitely not helping losing one of the gateways here with production and also the additional gas. Only one Colossus, and the Vikings are already building. We have the Medivacs doing their job here and pick up on one of those Marauders, but here comes again the Terran player. The reinforcements are on the way, flanking even a bit, taking on the Stalkers, and oh, one of the Colossus in a bad spot, and he goes down. The second one losing the shields. We have the Terran player moving away in the last second, even escaping from the Phoenixes for now. The Marines in a really bad spot by now, by the way. Abandoned between two rocks, like they're in no man's land. They're like, what the fuck is this? Like, we can't go to the right, we can't go to the left. I think they have abandonment issues at this point, and I don't blame them.
They're trapped forever, man.
Well, they
could try to get out themselves.
Yeah, they could shoot those debris down, but I feel they're so... They're really depressed right now. I think they need medication and maybe a psychiatrist, because they don't even try to get out. They give up.
Medivac's gonna come pick them up. Rescue team, man.
Oh, that's nice. That's
the
really
evac.
Nice. Yeah,
okay,
I like
so
that.
I really like that ForGG, upon realizing he was up against Colossus and Phoenixes, he started a second starport immediately.
I thought this Ohana moment, nobody is left behind, and then they die together. It's tragic and cute at the same time.
Yeah, they're all gonna die actually, but that means that in the main, no Phoenixes were there to defend against the Widow Mines. One of those Widow Mines died, but it killed a few walkers here and there. So ForGG is still finding a way to apply pressure, even though Stan is going for a very strong defensive build here with the Phoenixes and Colossus. And ForGG already being on 5 barracks and not starting a third command center, he's going to have way more army supply here in a moment. And he's going to go for that one attack where he has so much bioforces doing a ton of damage, and he manually targets the Colossus with the Vikings, takes them out, and then wins the fight and the game right there, I think.
That's at least what he is trying to do right now. The Protoss player also moving across the map now, and talking about those bioforces, we have 6 Vikings against 3 Colossi. If those Colossi get good shots off against the Bio army, then especially those Marines are just going to melt there. And San is really moving in right now. And of course, with the Phoenixes that he has, he can put all those Vikings down. But we have 4 Vikings being produced, so the longer that San delays this, the more Vikings there are going to be, and the easier the Colossi are going to fall. And that's why San is moving in right now. But already a few snipes on the Phoenixes, or at least attempts.
I don't think that this can work here for San, and ForGG is playing this right. He's waiting a little bit more up until maybe he can get a few more Vikings. He's going to even kite this. Forcing San to engage into him. He needs to pull the SCVs.
And there they are go, SCVs moving in, and so do the Vikings, taking on the Colossi. The first one is already about to die, the second one being pushed back. The force fields are there, but the Terran player is still moving in with the Marauders up at the front, pushing the Colossi back as well. Only one is still alive, but most of the gateway units are already down. The problem for ForGG is really that he lost a lot of his harvesters already. He's down to 26 versus 51, and he keeps losing his army as well. San is moving in with another Colossus there, and he's doing a great job. He's going to lose those eventually. But at this point, he's doing way more damage than I expected. The last Colossus is about to retreat here. The Zealots at the front taking a few more bio units down. Army supply is completely gone on the other hand for San. He has nothing left. He's trying to warp in use, but he's at 10 army supply against 44, and all that ForGG has to do right now is move cross map and run with that advantage.
Yeah, the thing is, he doesn't have Vikings, he has just one, and now one Colossus is gonna restart, which should be finished on time. Yeah, so I'm not sure like how this is gonna develop. I would say that ForGG is ahead, especially since like the Forge was never used to make any upgrade other than the armor level 1. There is no Blink, not even a Twilight here for San. He's entirely just getting gateway units plus Colossus right now. Whereas ForGG, even though he's quite a few walkers behind, having, you know, Bioforce, 1-1, having that many Medivacs, he's going to have so much initiative, and he's going to use just that to go for an attack here.
Yeah, and there he goes already, and even with those few workers that he has, he can still match the income of San thanks to the mules, as we just saw on the tab. So the Terran player really starting to struggle a bit to move in and finish the job, especially since we have that photon overcharge always being an option. Actually, no, the Mothership Core is down. I think you already pointed that out. So right now we have San still defending with what he has there. The Viking count is just extremely low, so that he can't really push that back.
ForGG, it looks like he's all-inning, by the way. He's not remaking SCVs. He's intentionally staying on 27 SCVs, knowing that he's up against around 50 probes. So right now, I guess what he's gonna do is wait for enough Vikings to fight and then just go for it.
To be fair though, like with the mineral patches nearly depleted in his main base, he can just use those harvesters to saturate the natural. He's starting to build more SCVs, but if he really wants to use all of them, he needs to relocate the main command center. A bit of a drop in the main base by ForGG, trying to of course divert the attention of San before he moves in at the natural. That's exactly what he does. Takes down the gas here, and that's always nice if you want to keep your opponent low on tech units like Colossi.
This is very strong what ForGG is doing, by the way. Like, he attacks here, and then if he stays here and fights against the army of San, he might lose, but then when San comes into him, he just pulls back, sets up a concave where the Colossus aren't nearly as useful. He keeps on doing that. He attacks, goes back, attacks, goes back. Now he's letting the Vikings do some work on these Colossi. We are up to 3 Colossi, by the way, against no Vikings, because he just lost his.
Yeah, and in the main base we have a few Marauders moving in, but I think they were still with the entire army. They tried to move back through the main base of the Protoss player and got taken out now. So San is doing a great job with keeping himself alive here and in the game. We have 14,000 resources lost for the Protoss player, nearly 13,000 for his opponent. In regards to the Harvesters, ForGG is starting to catch up here. He's still mainly saturating the main line at the bottom. Which, yeah, he flies away. He goes for the Night Elf move.
It's a strong move, Khaldor.
It's a really strong move. And it looks a bit more gracious than it did with the Night Elf, especially since the command center can actually fly. Oh, there comes the army. Oh wow, that's a big bioforce that we have on the map there. ForGG is at 90 army supply against 70 for San. If we're looking at the upgrades, it's 1-1 against only the armor upgrade for the Protoss. But especially with this third base, ForGG is going to have the much better income in the long run. San needs to get another mineral line if he wants to contest this, but I think he's just going to try and just YOLO his forces in there and go for a last desperate attempt to finish the game.
There's not that many Vikings right now, only 6 against 3 Colossi and 3 Phoenixes. The boss are being pulled and ForGG is going to go for it.
ForGG is going for it, and he's pulling everything. The Marines melting away under the Colossus fire. San is doing what he can. His army supply is still extremely low, and that concave by the Terran player moving in, pushing the Colossi back. Those Vikings are still alive, taking down Colossus number 1. The second one is already under pressure. It looks like ForGG has done it. The GG, and the Terran player advances to the final of the Caseking Christmas Cup, takes down San with a 3-1, wins the best of 5 series. And we are having a Terran versus Zerg in the finals. Congratulations to ForGG. Good job by San, but at the end of the day, the Terran player was